Hello guys, welcome to my channel. I'm very glad to see you all here and thank you so much for watching. This video will be in a very special format. It will be an interview with a realtor. Today I'm going to ask her different questions all about renting, everything you need to know, how to rent, where to find an apartment, how to manage the agreement, and all of these details you will find in our video. Don't forget to subscribe, to give me thumbs up, and let's get started. So today I'm with Maria. She is a realtor from Toronto and she will be ready to answer to all of your questions. So Maria, maybe you can introduce yourself.
Hi, Anya. Thank you for inviting me. My name is Maria. I work as a realtor in Toronto for over 10 years. I'd be happy to share my experience with you and some tips and tricks to successful transactions in real estate.
If I'm a newcomer, when should I start looking for apartment?
Well, I think the best answer is as soon as possible. And before even arriving to the country, I think it's important to do some research and understand what prices are like, which neighborhoods you might like, what the process looks like, what you need to rent a place, because it is a very competitive market. So the more research somebody does, the better off they are when they actually arrive and start looking at properties and trying to find a place to live. And when you're in the city, it doesn't take that long to secure a place if everything is prepared in advance. So whenever somebody arrives to the city, they could get a place within a week. If they find something right away, the whole process doesn't take too long, as long as the person knows what they're looking for.
Okay, and where is the best place to, what is the website you can recommend, official one that actually people can start looking and they can rely on them and trust them?
So I am associated with one company that runs a website called condos.ca. It's a really good resource of information. There is also other websites like realtor.ca. You can go to rentals.ca, viewit.ca, and so on.
And how to avoid scammers? Can there be some scams, or it's only on a Facebook Marketplace or Kijiji?
That's a great question. So anywhere you look to get information, any resource is fine. But if you do actually come to the point where you are looking to sign a contract or find a place to live, you should definitely consult a professional and make sure that your contract is legitimate, that your deposit is held in trust until you actually get the keys, that you sign the right paperwork. So find a realtor that works in the area that you're interested in. Most realtors specialize in very specific areas and are very good at getting deal done in those specific neighborhoods. Find somebody who can help, and there is no fee for a realtor when you're the one who's renting. So it's definitely free service, and why not use it? It is important to work with somebody to avoid fraud, because there is fraud out there, and if you hand in deposit to a random person and you may never hear from them again. So that's a little bit of a dangerous situation to be in. So just talk to somebody who works in the industry.
Now, all of my followers, my subscribers in YouTube will know you, so they can trust you.
Yeah,
so you're number one for now.
we have we have a lot of agents that work in our office that love to help as many people as they can. But as I mentioned, there are realtors who specify in different neighborhoods. So depending on where you're looking, I'm sure there's somebody on our team who'd be happy to help.
So what are the documents the landlord will require from their future tenants?
There's two important aspects when you're applying for lease, and the first one, of course, is income. They want to see stable income. It could be in the form of a job letter. If you have a job, it's great. It could be your savings. If you have substantial savings, you could show it to the landlord to say that you can sustain yourself for a period of time. The other part of it is the credit history. So that's something that a lot of newcomers are struggling with, because they don't have credit history when they come here. It could be a little bit of a hurdle to overcome, but there are ways to go about it. So these two main things are the two important things that you need to have when you apply for lease is show income and show good credit history. References are also very important. So if you have good references here from people who live here that can vouch for you, it's a great help as well for tenants. The last one is references of your previous landlords. So if it's somebody that can be reached, even if it's not in Canada, depends on where they are. If they can be reached, that's a good way to improve chances.
So if I'm a newcomer, I don't have a credit history and I don't have a job. So the only way to get me an apartment is to show that I have enough money or on my saving account, so they can see that I can pay in advance.
Correct. Another way to go about it is to find a guarantor. If you have somebody that lives here with good income and good credit history that could serve you as a guarantor, that would be a good help too.
Okay, so maybe now let's start talking about like the pricing, right? I know that a lot of
Mhm.
people are actually looking and very interested to know how much it costs. So if we're talking about, let's say, core downtown Toronto and maybe some far locations, what will be the approximate price for the, let's say, one bedroom apartment in downtown and outside downtown?
A condo in downtown Toronto would start at about 2,300, and a lot of times that doesn't include a parking space. And one of the reasons why some people want to live downtown is because they don't drive and they want to be close to their office and walkable distance to many amenities. So starting price in downtown is about 2,300 for one bedroom. If you do want a parking space in downtown, you're looking closer to 2,500 plus. For a two bedroom, no parking, about 2,700, and with parking, about 3,000 or more. If you move outside of the downtown core, and you could still be within half an hour commute from downtown, and you could get a one bedroom starting from about 2,200 with parking space, and for a two bedroom you're looking at about 2,800.
What is always included in the price and what is like can be included and cannot?
So a lot of the times you'd be paying utilities as extra. Newer buildings are all billing heat, hydro, water separately. It's actually a new bylaw in the city. Or some older buildings are all inclusive, but 9 times out of 10 you'd be paying hydro or heat, hydro, and water. So if you're only paying hydro, you're looking at about $50 to $70 a month. If you have all utilities billed as extras, closer to about $100, depends on how much you use. The other additional cost is the tenant insurance. Tenant insurance is mandatory anywhere you rent, and the cost of it varies, but roughly, give or take, about $300 a year.
Internet will also, most of the time, will be also separately.
Internet is always extra, yes.
Yes, and it will be around probably like $50-$60 per month.
If you find a good deal, sometimes a little bit more.
Yeah, but I'm paying like $50 per month, and I'm really satisfied with my provider, so I'm good with that. And if we're talking about the apartment itself, so what could be included in the price? So it's usually empty, right? But you will always have like a fridge.
Yeah, so kitchen appliances, fridge, stove, dishwasher, microwave, washer, dryer is usually a given. And there is no furniture. There is typically window coverings that are included. Bathroom is all equipped. So you bring your furniture.
Maybe you can give some recommendations for the people who are going to rent in Toronto. Maybe there is some areas we need to avoid, or maybe there is something that we really need to look before we rent an apartment.
So as I mentioned earlier, consult a professional to avoid fraud. That's one of the things to keep in mind. Another thing that I know a lot of families bring up is, look into the schools. And it's important to remember that proximity to school doesn't guarantee a placement in the school. A lot of the new buildings would assign kids to different schools because the local school is at capacity. So always consult the local school district board and make sure that the property you're looking to rent would be allocated to the school that you're counting on getting into. The other one that I would encourage everybody to keep in mind is see the place in person. Sometimes in a competitive market, people would be eager to get a place without even seeing it because they're scared that it's going to get rented before they get a chance to see it. But sometimes pictures that are shown online are not in line with what the actual unit actually looks like now because those photos may have been taken 2-3 years ago. So it's important to see the place in person just to confirm the condition of it. And the last thing is to remember, if it's not written in the contract, it doesn't get done. So, we can't assume that the landlord will clean a place or paint it for you. If you think that there is something that you want to get done and would be a deal breaker for you, make sure that it's in your contract, in the offer that you submit to the landlord.
And if we're talking about some areas, maybe there is some dangerous or not really safe areas in Toronto or like outside Toronto that would not recommend to look for a place.
There are good and bad neighborhoods in every city, and it really depends on the priority of a certain person, right? I think for most newcomers, it's important to stay close to amenities, transportation, shops, restaurants, so that they can get around easier and get to know the city better. And then maybe use the opportunity of, when you rent a place, you typically sign a 1 year lease. It's not a short period of time, but it's not too long either. And I think it's a good amount of time for somebody to learn more about the city and understand where you actually want to plant roots at. And then you can choose your preferred neighborhood. You can research crime rates and find out which neighborhood to stay away from. And it really depends on your level of tolerance to certain things, and some people are a little bit more sensitive than others, but
Agree.
pretty much if you are close to subway and in a dense area, you're most likely okay.
Okay, so that's good recommendations. Thank you. We covered most of the important questions. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, to follow Maria. I will leave below our video like all her contacts, so you can contact her directly and she will be happy to help you to find your perfect place to live. Thank you, and we are moving back to the second part, so stay tuned, guys. Bye bye.